Distinguished guests are now entering the venue. We kindly ask you to welcome them with a big round of applause.
In the hall, please welcome him with a big round of applause.
시원한 바람,
Cool breeze, warm sunshine, clear air. Nature is a precious gift we enjoy every day. To preserve this precious nature for generations, Chungnam has chosen a sustainable future. Since 2017, Chungnam has hosted the annual Carbon Neutrality International Conference, leading global climate cooperation. Recognized at home and acknowledged abroad, Chungnam's commitment to carbon neutrality has now set a new standard. Hydrogen, wind, and sunlight join forces to generate clean electricity and bright Chungnam's days. Through forward-looking investments, industrial sites are being transformed into stages of green innovation. With eco-friendly technology and new jobs, Chungnam's economy is growing greener. The small actions of 480,000 residents have combined to deliver the same impact as planting 20,000 pine trees. On this path, we continue moving forward, a bright tomorrow. The road Chungnam has walked carries a vision for a better future. It is the road to safeguarding our precious planet and to building a sustainable today. Chungnam, the Special Carbon Neutrality Economy Province. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 9th Chungcheongnam-do International Conference on Carbon Neutrality. I'm your MC of ceremonies today. I'd like to deliver all my gratitude to all the participants. My name is Jung Jae-hee, your MC today. Today's event is co-hosted by Chungcheongnam-do Province and the Climate Group, in partnership with many organizations, including the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Korea Forest Service, the Korea Environment Institute, the Korea Institute of Science and Technology, and the Korea Institute of Civil Engineering and Building Technology. The theme of this year's conference is expansion of exchange and cooperation for carbon neutrality in local governments. Before we start, I'd like to guide through today's programs. The event will begin with an opening video, followed by welcoming remarks, congratulatory messages. Then we will proceed with keynote speeches, presentations on the use of existing carbon reduction resources. And now I'd like to ask you to give a big round of applause to declare the opening of the Carbon Neutrality International Conference. Before we begin today's main program, we'd like to recognize and warmly welcome the distinguished guests who have graced this conference with their presence. First, we'd like to acknowledge those who have made today's gathering possible. Governor Kim Tae-hum of Chungcheongnam-do. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause. Mayor Kim Dong-il of Boryeong City co-host of today's conference together with Chungcheongnam-do Province. And then Hong Sung-hyun, chairperson of Chungcheongnam-do Provincial Council. And then Kim So-hee, member of the National Assembly. And Mr. Mike Pierce, Executive Director of Systems Change at the Climate Group.
이어서 소개 올리겠습니다.
And then His Excellency Warren Beisert, Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Germany to the Republic of Korea. Next, Elina, Mayor of Mempart Regency, Indonesia. Next, Ariani Yakimduru, Director of the Forest. Mr. Kim Gi-hun of Seocheon-gun. Choi Eun-sun, Chairperson of the Boryeong City Provincial Council. Lee Young-jo, the President of the Comico, Kim Byung-gun, CEO of the Korea Development Corporation. Kim Il-soo, the head of the Chungnam Education Office. Mr. Demian of the Quebec government. Next, Lemat Karu, Director of Subnational Government Policy under Two Coalition.
성은현
Song Eun-hyun, Vice Dean of Hosa University. Last but not least, Chun Hee-kyung, the Chair Researcher of the Chungnam Research Center. I should properly introduce each and every one of you who attended today, but due to time constraints, I kindly ask for your understanding that I will be not introducing everyone. Let's start today's main program. So many efforts have been put into this event, and now I'd like to ask Mr. Kim Tae-hun for the opening remark. Please give a big hand. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kim Tae-hun, Governor of Chungcheongnam-do, Republic of Korea. I sincerely welcome all of you to the 9th Chungcheongnam-do Carbon Neutrality International Conference. I'd like to thank Member of the National Assembly Kim So-hee, Mike Pierce, Executive Director of the Climate Group, Lemat Kauru, Policy Director of the Under Two Coalition, His Excellency Warren Beisert, Deputy Ambassador of Germany to the Republic of Korea. I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks to all the participants, and I'd like to thank Elina Abdul Fattah Weza of Mempath Regency, Kalimantan Province, and the Indonesian delegation for joining us from afar. Distinguished representatives of local governments and international organizations, with each passing year, abnormal weather events and natural disasters are occurring more frequently across the globe. In the face of the climate crisis, no one is safe. The climate crisis is no longer a distant problem of the future, but a pressing reality that we are facing today. We must not miss the golden time to respond to the climate crisis, and all of us must strive to achieve carbon neutrality. Chungnam has long served as the heart of Korea's industrial development, driving the national economy. However, it is also home to half of the nation's coal-fired power plants, as well as clusters of high-carbon industries such as petrochemical complexes and steel. As a result, Chungnam has been dishonorably labeled as the #1 carbon emitter. Amid such circumstances, I declare the establishment of the carbon neutral economy special province with the determination that without Chungnam, Korea can never achieve carbon neutrality. This was our way of expressing a strong commitment to take the lead in achieving carbon neutrality in a proactive and active manner. Under the banner of becoming a carbon neutrality economy special province, Chungnam is making its utmost efforts to reduce methane emissions by 35% by 2030 and to achieve carbon neutrality by 2045, 5 years ahead of the national government's target. In particular, we are phasing out coal-fired power plants, with 3 more scheduled to be shut down by next year and a total of 22 plants to be closed by 2038. However, the process of energy transition is not easy. Since the closure of Boryeong units 1 and 2, the population of Boryeong City has dropped below 100,000, and jobs and consumer spending have declined, causing serious challenges for the local economy. This clearly shows that a transition without proper measures cannot succeed. Therefore, Chungnam is working together with the National Assembly and the central government to minimize regional damages and establish new industrial foundations by promoting the enactment of the Special Act on supporting regions affected by the closure of coal-fired power plants. We will ensure that this bill, covering fund creation, fostering alternative industries, and supporting employment transition, is enacted within this year so that the energy transition becomes not a crisis, but a new opportunity. Our energy transition goes beyond simply reducing coal-fired power plants. It also encompasses moving toward a new dimension of the energy industry. In this regard, Chungnam is also focusing on expanding renewable energy infrastructure. We are utilizing the excellent offshore wind power sites along the west coast to establish public-led offshore wind farms in Boryeong and Taean. At the same time, we are expanding our solar panel installations in old industrial complexes and unused public facilities to raise our energy self-sufficiency rate. In addition, we are fostering a hydrogen industry ecosystem by expanding the supply of eco-friendly vehicles and hydrogen charging infrastructure, while attracting related research facilities and industrial complexes, growing into a hub for future energy. Distinguished representatives of local governments and international organizations, for the great transition toward carbon neutrality to succeed, the participation of businesses and citizens is absolutely essential. Enterprises must recognize the reality that carbon neutrality is now directly tied to corporate competitiveness. They should place greenhouse gas reduction, energy efficiency, and renewable energy transition at the core of their strategies. Citizens must create change by practicing carbon neutrality in their daily lives through energy conservation, eco-friendly consumption, and recycling. Ultimately, achieving carbon neutrality will only be possible when the three elements come together: industrial support from national and local governments, innovation and investment by businesses, and practical action by citizens in their daily lives. Chungnam will lead the cooperation of the government, businesses, and citizens and take the lead in advancing Korea's path toward carbon neutrality. I hope this conference will serve as a meaningful opportunity to share directions and concrete action tasks for achieving carbon neutrality. And I also hope this will be a turning point for more nations and local governments to join in responding to the climate crisis and for the whole world to take part in climate action together. Thank you. He made a great remarks highlighting the importance of cooperation of the government, businesses, and citizens in order to accelerate the progress. Chungnam is going to put its utmost efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand once again. This conference is being held in Boryeong, a central city on the west coast and the hub of the marine, tourism, and energy industries. Of course, we cannot miss the welcome address from Mayor Kim Dong-il. Please give a big hand. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kim Dong-il, and I'm the mayor of Boryeong City. Welcome, everyone. We are now joining the 9th Chungcheongnam-do Carbon Neutrality International Conference, and I'd like to congratulate the opening of this event, and I'd like to thank all of the participants for joining us today. Welcome once again. Boryeong, for a long time, has grown based on coal power plants. However, we have to end the era of coal-fired power plants, and we have to move towards renewable energies, including solar and wind power. By doing so, we have to prepare for a better future. In order to walk on this path, we are joining this conference, and I think that this event holds a very big significance in this regard. I'd like to thank Mr. Kim Tae-hum for his efforts and all the staff members for preparing this 9th International Conference. The theme of this year's conference is expansion of exchange and cooperation for carbon neutrality in local governments, and I think that the theme shows very well our future visions for carbon neutrality. Taking this opportunity, I hope that we can find a better ways to achieve carbon neutrality and enhance our cooperation. Boryeong City is keeping up on this progress, and we are very solid in energy transition and expansion of renewable energy sources. This is not just a choice of a mere local government, and this is a choice that we have to make as a responsible member of the international community. Once again, welcome everyone, and thank you for coming to this beautiful city of Boryeong City. I wish a success and happiness all of you. Thank you. Thank you for your wonderful remark. Renewable energy transition is pursued by Boryeong City according to his remark, and I think that this holds a very big significance. Please give a big hand once again. Next, we will invite the distinguished guests who have joined us to celebrate the 9th Chungcheongnam-do Carbon Neutrality International Conference onto the stage to deliver congratulatory remarks. Mr. Hong Sung-hyun, Chairman of the Chungcheongnam-do Provincial Council, please give a warm hand. Welcome, everyone. I'm the chairperson Hong Sung-hyun of Chungcheongnam-do Provincial Council. I'd like to congratulate the opening of the 9th Chungcheongnam-do Carbon Neutrality International Conference on behalf of the 2 million residents of my province. Now, carbon emissions are damaging the environments around the world, and inclement weather conditions, including more frequent wildfires, are happening all around the world. So, for the first time ever, Chungcheongnam-do declared itself as a special province for carbon neutrality. And so far, it reduced 1.37 million tons of carbon emissions in this regard. I am very empathetic about the policies promoted by Chungcheongnam-do, and I like to support its efforts by making good policies and coming up with better strategies. Mr. Kim Tae-hum and other distinguished guests from home and abroad, I like to thank all of you for your commitment and efforts for carbon neutrality, and I like to make a better world where our future generations can thrive and prosper. I hope that this event will serve as a really important venue for carbon neutrality in a better future. Thank you. Thank you for your remarks. As far as I understand, we are joined by so many students, so future generations are very important when we think about the policies and strategies for the future. Once again, I'd like to ask you to give a big round of applause. Next, I'd like to ask Ms. Kim So-hee to come onto the stage for your remark. Please give a big round of applause. Welcome. My name is Kim So-hee, and I'm the member of the National Assembly. I am on behalf of the people for the theme of climate technology, and I'm also in charge of the environmental protection and conservation and energy transition. Last year, I joined the National Assembly, specializing the environmental issues, and I really wanted to come to this event last year, but I couldn't make it. So I am now today in this event today. I know that not many people come to environmental events, but we are joined by so many participants. This shows that Chungcheongnam-do's efforts are recognized by so many people, and this conference is recognized by many people around the world. Mr. Kim Tae-hum and Kim Dong-il, thank you very much for opening this event. Mr. Hong Sung-hyun and Mike Pierce, nice to meet you. As you pointed out, this year Korea faced a heat wave and frequent rainfalls. Gangneung is suffering droughts as well. Inclement weather conditions are caused by climate change, and inclement weather is something that we have to respond to very successfully, and this is a very important pillar as well. So climate response requires the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. So carbon emissions, greenhouse gas emissions must be cut. And so many policymakers are thinking hard to how to successfully cut and reduce carbon emissions. As you are well aware, Korea has grown very fast over 50 years, and in the process, Chungnam played a very big role. coal power plant and nuclear power plants led the industrial development of Korea, and many of the plants are used to located in Chungcheongnam-do province. And Chungcheongnam-do is shutting down those plants, and I agree on the policy. So instead of coal-fired power plants, we have to find a new renewable energy source. And Chungcheongnam-do is also seeking for a new energy source that does not harm the environment.
법안 중에 하나.
So I was very interested in this issue, and I proposed a bill on this issue as well. I expected that this bill would be passed very fast. However, I faced some opposition from the policymakers, and the bill failed to be passed. And I think that it must be passed as soon as possible. So I asked for the opinions and feedback from Mr. Kim, and he said that Chungnam or Chungcheongnam-do province is going to be designated as a special province for carbon neutrality. Mr. Kim said energy issue is directly associated with industrial development. So energy transition is a must for our future growth. For the last 50 years, Korea has developed thanks to the many fossil fuel energy sources, but we have to think about our future 50 years, and we have to transition to renewable energy sources. So I believe that Chungcheongnam-do will be a model province for our better future and environment. And I like to say that we have to support by law the closure of coal-fired power plants. Now we are under the Lee administration, and he is highlighting the importance of crisis of the environment. However, we have to pay attention whether he actually puts budget on this issue, because he might just talk about the importance of the climate crisis. So I think that we have to monitor whether the new government is taking action, and we have to push the government to take concrete actions. And because I'm in the Environmental Labor Commission, I know very well the importance of the replacing existing fossil fuel industries with new renewable energy sources, and I know that I have to contribute to creating new jobs. The decline of population is witnessed in many regions where fossil fuel power plants were shut down. So we have to ensure the smooth transition from the fossil fuel power plants to renewable sources, and only then we can continue our economic development and growth. His Excellency Vice Cert is here today, and some members of the National Assembly visited recently Germany, and we learned how Germany is preparing for climate mitigation and adaptation. And one person said that Germany also faced some opposition from the public about the transition to renewable energy sources. So he said that Germany is now diversifying the sources, renewable sources. In the video that we watched before, we saw that Chungnam is working for renewable energy sources, green hydrogen, and climate technology for the creation of new jobs for young people. I think that these three pillars will help Chungcheongnam-do to continue its journey for carbon neutrality. As a member of the National Assembly, I will try my best to support the efforts of Chungcheongnam-do. Domestic climate response will be driven by Chungcheongnam-do's designation as the carbon neutrality special province. Once again, I'd like to thank all the participants and distinguished guests for joining us today. Thank you. Thank you for your remark. And she said that the National Assembly is trying to support the energy efforts promoted by Chungcheongnam-do. Once again, please give a big round of applause. Next, shall we hear the message from Mr. Chung? I will read on behalf of him. I sincerely congratulate the opening of the 9th Chungnam Carbon Neutrality International Conference. First of all, I'd like to express my deep gratitude to Governor Kim Tae-hum, Representative Helen Clarks, and all those involved. Chungcheongnam-do is at the forefront of energy transition, facing a major turning point to achieve carbon neutrality. I expect that the expert discussions and international experiences to be shared here today will be of great help in resolving practical challenges, and I will also spare no efforts in the National Assembly to support this cause. Once again, I congratulate the opening of this conference, and I hope that today's discussions will serve as a starting point for changes for future generations. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand.
네, 장도
Chairman Chang also shared support towards today's event. Now we would like to welcome our overseas VIPs that have participated in today's event to celebrate this important occasion. For information, simultaneous interpretation service is being provided. Channel 1 is Korean. First, Mr. Mike Pierce, please come up to the stage. Executive Director Mr. Mike Pierce will come up to the stage for his congratulatory remarks.
Good morning, everyone. I'd first like to introduce a video message from Helen Clarkson, the Chief Executive of Climate Group, to say a few words.
Hello, I'm Helen Clarkson, Chief Executive of Climate Group. I'd like to extend my congratulations to Governor Kim Tae-hum on the opening of the 9th Chungcheongnam-do Carbon Neutrality International Conference. I would like to thank Governor Kim Tae-hum for his commitment to climate action through his role as co-chair of the Under-2 Coalition. Subnational governments like Chungcheongnam-do play a crucial role in leading the journey to carbon neutrality. This year's theme of accelerating just transition and climate action provides an opportunity for us all to learn about the inspiring work taking place in Chungcheongnam-do and to hearing from leading voices from around the world about how they're working towards accelerating climate action and advancing climate justice through local leadership and global collaboration. I wish you all a successful conference, and I hope you will return from Boryeong with new ideas, contacts, and inspiration.
Thank you, Helen. And I know it is, Helen is very disappointed to be not joining in person today, but it is my pleasure to join you at this 9th International Conference on Carbon Neutrality. I'd like to thank Governor Kim for his inspiring leadership and for hosting this crucial event. By bringing together governments, businesses, and climate advocates that are taking action to bring down emissions, this conference is a fantastic example of the vital role that states and regions play in driving climate action. The conference, as we know, is happening at a critical juncture. 10 years ago, the Paris Agreement gave the world a mandate to keep global temperatures from rising more than 1.5 degrees. But now we are running out of time to take the actions needed. Last year was the warmest on record, and 2025 is on track to breach that mark. The impacts of climate change are visible everywhere. Even in places where people didn't worry about it very much before. In the United Kingdom, where we are famous for our rainy weather, large parts of the country are facing a drought, and unusually hot weather is damaging the health of the population. And we are the lucky ones. The communities facing the biggest threats are often those least able to afford to take action. At COP30 in Brazil, later in this year, we need to see the world's leaders come together to take the steps that get us back on track before the reality of climate change becomes even more challenging. In particular, we need to see support put in place for those countries and regions that lack the resources to make the transition. I hope that the governments meeting in Belém will follow the lead of subnational governments like those in the Under 2 coalition and embrace the spirit of collaboration and innovation. Today's theme for our conference today is a reminder that climate action needs to focus on helping secure good jobs and a sustainable future for communities. As the global community accelerates towards net zero, the transition must be fast and also be fair. Climate justice means giving power to those most affected by climate change. It also means making sure money reaches local communities fairly. Subnational governments, often closest to communities and climate impacts, are essential to delivering this vision. Later today, we will hear from speakers about their work to address climate impacts in their regions. We will also hear more about the crucial role that international collaboration plays in creating new approaches that embed climate justice into policy making. I would like to express our gratitude to Governor Kim, in particular, for supporting this work with partners in the Global South, through the support given by Chungnam towards the Under 2 coalition. At a time when national governments in many countries have been reluctant or even hostile to taking action on the climate, subnational governments are quietly getting on with the job. Cities, regions and local governments are driving ambitious climate innovation, and by putting political differences aside and focusing on the needs of their communities, they are helping make climate action part of every decision they make. We recognise that subnational governments can't do this on their own. There needs to be partnership with their national counterparts. Networks like the Under 2 coalition, of which Governor Kim has been the Asia-Pacific co-chair since 2022, and which has over 180 state, regional and provisional governments globally, are prime examples of how local leaders can drive momentum on the international stage with events like this. Working together, our power is incredible. If the Under 2 coalition were a country, it would be the 4th largest economy in the world. And at COP30, we need to claim our place at the table and help accelerate climate action. That is why we're proud to have leading provinces such as Chungcheongnam-do, Jeju-do, and Gyeonggi-do in South Korea as members of the Under 2 coalition. And it is wonderful to be formally welcoming Jula to the Under 2 coalition at today's event. We look forward to continuing our work in South Korea and helping to support the development of new climate action policies across the country. I'm particularly excited by the prospects for greater collaboration between provincial governments, businesses and the national government. Korean businesses are some of the most committed supporters of RE100, and the influence they are having on businesses across Asia is a tribute to their commitment to climate action. We are at a crossroads. The world needs decisive, coordinated action if we are to meet the climate challenge. But it also needs to enable climate action to focus on meeting local and regional needs. Subnational governments remain vital incubators of climate innovation, and by forging strong partnerships, both with national authorities and across global networks, we can unlock the transformative change our planet urgently requires. I hope that when we meet next, we will be able to celebrate further successes and an agreement at COP30 in Belém, which gives subnational governments around the world the resources they need to take this leadership further. Thank you, and I look forward to a fascinating conference today.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you very much. Climate Group has also emphasized the importance of cooperation with Korea. Please congratulate him with another round of applause. Next, Mr. Wedon Baisot, Deputy Ambassador of Germany to Korea, will give a congratulatory remark.
For his congratulatory remarks, please welcome him with a big round of applause.
안녕하십니까. 저는 독일 대사관 부대사 웨른 바이소트입니다. 만나서 반갑습니다. First of all, I would like to thank Governor Kim Tae-hum for inviting me to this 2025 Carbon Neutrality International Conference. And I would also like to thank Mayor Kim Il-dong for graciously hosting this conference here in Boryeong. Extreme weather in many parts of the world has amplified the urgency of action in order to respond to climate change. Adaptation to climate change becomes increasingly difficult, and our current pathway of carbon emissions does not look good enough to keep global warming in check. Some countries seem to be thinking that adaptation alone can be enough to handle the climate crisis. But the reduction of emissions is paramount to save human lives, and it has proven to be cheaper than adaptation. Every won we invest in the energy transitions prevents 5 won in climate damages. We need to intensify our efforts to reach carbon neutrality as soon as possible. I would like to express my gratitude also to the member of the National Assembly, Kim So-hui, for mentioning German climate policy. Even though we have had a change in government in Germany, also the new German government has set itself ambitious targets, and we are working hard towards their implementation. We are working towards ambitious EU NDCs for 2035, and we encourage all our partners, including Korea, to do likewise. We will phase out coal for power generation by 2038. This requires significant efforts by government at all levels, the business community, and every single citizen alike. We have already increased the share of renewable energy to almost 60% of electricity generation in Germany, with nearly 50% less emissions in 2024 than in 1999. We are on track to reach our 2030 target. We, of course, also appreciate the efforts of Korea to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. In particular, I would like to express my appreciation for the new government's renewed focus on renewable energies. The recently passed Special Act on Offshore Wind is an important step in the right direction. Germany and its companies are determined to work together with Korea in this field. Korea has an immense potential, and we and German companies stand ready to work together with you to scale up and share our experiences. I would like to explicitly commend Chungcheongnam-do for its leadership in enabling a debate on climate change. And we have already mentioned the Under 2 coalition and your personal involvement in that. I would also like to mention that Chungcheongnam-do was the first Asian jurisdiction to announce a coal phase-out by 2050 and joined the Powering Past Coal Alliance. These are vital steps for Korea on its way to achieve its climate ambitions. And I would also express my respect for the efforts of Boryeong City for its efforts on the way of becoming a zero-carbon city. I'm confident that this conference will make a meaningful contribution to a nationwide debate on how to take climate action forward. I look forward to interesting discussions. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다. 오늘
Thank you very much. That was a warm remark to celebrate today's occasion. Please give him another round of applause. We would like to extend our gratitude to all the VIPs that have shared valuable welcoming remarks. And we would like to extend our gratitude to the three VIPs that have sent us some videos to celebrate today's event. Mr. Philip Lefortune, Mr. Roland Homkamp, and Ms. Susan Close, Mr. Chung Gi-young will share welcoming videos.
Esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, 안녕하세요. My name is Philippe Lafortune, and I'm the Canadian Ambassador Designate to the Republic of Korea. Let me begin by saying thank you to Governor Kim Tae-hum for inviting me to say a few words ahead of this meaningful conference. While I'm unable to join you in person today, I do want to commemorate Canada's long-standing engagement with Cheongnam province, including the visit of former climate change ambassador and a good friend of mine, Catherine Stewart, and former ambassador to the Republic of Korea, Michael Danager. As co-chair of the Powering Past Coal Alliance, we are delighted to return to Cheongnam again, where 3 years ago, the PPCA co-hosted the International Conference on Net Zero and Coal Phase Out. This year's event maintains the momentum first achieved when Cheongnam joined the alliance. It was the first jurisdiction in Korea and Asia to commit to phasing out unabated coal power generation. Now, with 8 subnational governments in the alliance, Korea has the chance to show leadership internationally and seize the momentum to be Asia's leader in the global clean energy transition by transitioning away from coal power generation. That is why I'm speaking to you today, to deepen our dialogue on advancing low-carbon economies and explore new global climate initiatives. Canada values its strong and enduring relationship with Korea, supported by collaborative frameworks such as the Canada-Korea Memorandum of Understanding on Climate Change Cooperation. As you will all be aware, the global energy system is changing. Artificial intelligence and the demand for data centers will increase electricity needs, and geopolitical events are disrupting global energy supply and security. With electricity demand growing in Asia, now is the time to think about how to reconfigure electricity system and move towards low emissions sources. Moving away from coal power and towards renewable energy can boost economic competitiveness by attracting financing from clean energy, spurring innovation, and creating new market opportunities. It also decreases the reliance on a more expensive source of energy and increases the risk of stranded assets. Canada understands that transitioning away from coal can be challenging, especially for workers. This is why we implemented the Sustainable Job Act in 2024, which is focused on supporting Canadian workers and community as they shift to a low-carbon economy. We also launched the Canada Coal Transition Initiative, an infrastructure fund to help community move away from coal by supporting skills development, economic diversification, and priority infrastructure projects for affected workers and community. In that spirit, Canada invites Korea and everyone else in the room to help support the global energy transition with 2 key commitments. First, country, businesses, financiers, and other organizations can join the Powering Past Coal Alliance and commit to ending unabated coal power generation. And second, countries can sign on the call to action for no new coal ahead of COP30 and join an ambitious coalition of countries committing to no new unabated coal in the energy system. In closing, I would like to thank everyone here today for continuing the dialogue on energy transition. Canada looks forward to working together with all of you to maintain the momentum to fight climate change and advance our economy. 감사합니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to extend my congratulations on the 9th Carbon Neutrality International Conference. At a time when we clearly understand that climate risks have already reached critical levels, gatherings like today's conference, bringing together as it does local leaders, policymakers, and international partners, are vital to accelerating climate action in a way that is fair, inclusive, and sustainable. This year's theme, Accelerating Just Transition and Climate Action, resonates deeply with the European Union's commitment to address the climate crisis. Through our European Green Deal, the EU has pledged to become climate neutral by 2050, transforming our economy and societies while ensuring that no one is left behind. Just transition lies at the heart of this effort. It is not only about cutting emissions, but also about protecting livelihoods, supporting vulnerable communities, and creating new green opportunities. The EU's Just Transition mechanism is a key tool to ensure that the transition towards a climate-neutral economy happens in a fair way. It provides targeted support to help mobilize around 55 billion euros over the period from 2021 to 2027 in the most affected regions, to alleviate the socio-economic impact of the transition. In delivering the green transition, the role of cities and regions is essential. In the EU, local and regional governments are at the forefront, implementing innovative solutions, engaging citizens, and shaping resilient, low-carbon communities. Initiatives like the EU Covenant of Mayors, supported by the European Commission, have mobilized thousands of local leaders to take ambitious climate actions, aligned to deliver the objectives of the European Green Deal. Ladies and gentlemen, the climate-neutral world will not be achieved by the EU alone. We need to step up our efforts and work in partnership. For this reason, the EU values our cooperation with the Republic of Korea to fulfill our mutual commitments to safeguard our planet for future generations. With Korea, we're very close partners, and the EU and Korea jointly launched the EU-Korea Green Partnership in 2023 to accelerate our green transition. This includes cooperation on just transition. Furthermore, the EU has launched this year the new phase of our international urban and regional cooperation program to promote local-to-local cooperation on sustainable urban transition and regional innovation. And I'm delighted to see that Chungcheongnam-do has joined the program, and we look forward to our new cooperation on clean and just energy transition. Congratulations once again, and I look forward to learning about the proceedings of today's conference and how they can inform our policy making. 감사합니다.
The Honorable Governor of Chungcheongnam-do, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to be with you at this year's International Conference on Carbon Neutrality. 10 years after the Paris Agreement, the world has crossed a sobering threshold. The global temperature rise has exceeded 1.5 degrees for the first time. The warning is clear. Our response must be faster, more inclusive, and stronger. The Republic of Korea is expanding renewables, preparing a new 2035 climate pledge, and working with our partners at APEC Chair under the theme, Building a Sustainable Tomorrow. But progress will not come from national governments alone. This is why this annual conference in Chungcheongnam-do is so valuable. Year after year, it gathers leaders, experts, and citizens to share strategies and remind us of the urgent choices before us. By sustaining this platform, Chungcheongnam-do has become more than a province. It has become a force for change in Korea and beyond. It is no surprise that Chungcheongnam-do was the first local government in Asia to join the Powering Past Coal Alliance, or PPCA, signaling to the world that local leadership can drive global change. The province's own target of carbon neutrality by 2045 is bold, particularly as it hosts half of Korea's coal-fired plant. What makes this goal credible is Chungcheongnam-do's commitment to a just transition, closing plants early, investing in workers, and laying the groundwork for greener industries. This conference reminds us that carbon neutrality is not an abstract ideal. It is built here through local leadership, global cooperation, and the choices we make today for those who will inherit this earth. Thank you.
Hello, and thank you very much for inviting South Australia to participate in your conference by video. I'm the Deputy Premier of the state and also the Minister for Climate, Environment and Water. And we in South Australia take climate change very seriously. We were the first state in Australia to declare a climate emergency on coming into government in 2022. We also have ambitious plans for low emissions, and we are achieving them. We are already at 80% of our electricity being produced from wind and sun, and we will hit net 100% by 2027. We're very serious about the impact of climate change as well. Right now we have a flood in the north of our state, a drought in the rest of our land, and also an algal bloom in 2 of our gulfs. We know how serious climate change is and also how important nature is in its response. We believe very strongly in the power of sub-national jurisdictions, in states getting together, working together, and learning from each other. I hope your conference goes very well, and we look forward to continuing to participate in finding a pathway to lower emissions and greater resilience in the face of climate change.
Thank you for congratulating today's event through the videos. Please give the VIPs that have sent us the videos one more round of applause.
정책
So now I'd like to hear the first policy presentations of today's conference. Elena Abdur from the West Kalimantan Refinery will give a presentation. And the theme is Indonesia's climate crisis response policy and climate justice.
welcome her with a big round of applause.
Good morning. Good morning, Your Excellencies from Under 2 Coalition, distinguished leaders from Chungnam Province, and all ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to be here today at the Chungnam Conference. On behalf of the government and the people of West Kalimantan, I would like to extend my warmest congratulations to Chungnam Province for their strong leadership and dedication to climate action. This gathering clearly shows that commitments at a regional level are vital for tackling global challenges. First, let me give you a quick look at our province. Kalimantan Barat is the third largest province in Indonesia, covering an area of 147,000 square kilometers with a population of about 5.76 million people. We're located in the western part of Borneo Island, sharing a border with Malaysia to the north. This location makes us a key entry point for Indonesia in Southeast Asia. Our province is part of the heart of Borneo and is globally known for its amazing biodiversity. We have 5.5 million hectares of forest, an area 1.3 times the size of Denmark, where unique animals like the orangutan, the rhinoceros hornbill, the proboscis monkey, and the pangolin live. Our forests also hold a huge amount of carbon, accounting for 6.43% of Indonesia's total tropical forest carbon stock. However, with all this natural wealth, we face serious problems. The rate of deforestation and forest degradation is a major issue, harming our environment and contributing to global emissions. In the last 29 years, we've lost 2 million hectares of forest. Right now, deforestation is happening at a rate of 69,000 hectares per year. That's like losing 98,000 football fields annually, and it releases 22.1 million CO2 equivalent of emissions. Forest degradation adds another 1.26 million CO2 equivalents per year. These emissions from land use change are mainly caused by forest and land fires, which are driven by unsustainable forestry, expanding plantations and farms, and unplanned infrastructure development. The main causes are unsustainable forestry, expanding plantations and farms, and poorly planned infrastructure development. To face these challenges, West Kalimantan has taken strong, integrated steps. Our goal is clear: to reduce emissions by 60% from our business-as-usual levels by 2030. We've built our strategy on key 4 key pillars. Pillar 1, strengthening our regional strategy and reforming regulations. We've made sure our regional development plans include green growth and sustainability. We've also created improved important frameworks like the Provincial Strategy and Action Plan for RED, plus our Sustainable Development Action Plan and the FOLU NetSync 2030 Subnational Plan, which all link to national policies. We're strengthening regulatory support through local regulations for forest area protection and managing social forestry, which now covers 700,000 hectares, the largest in Indonesia. Pillar 2, multi-stakeholder collaboration. We're strengthening our provincial RED Plus working group as a central point for climate action. This group brings together the government, private sector, academics, and local groups to work together. We believe real solutions can only come from strong, trusting partnerships. We're building and strengthening multi-stakeholder platforms led by the provincial government to align landscape-level projects with jurisdictional initiatives. Pillar 3, law enforcement. We're actively reviewing permits and using our authority to apply administrative penalties for unsustainable forest management. This helps us make sure everyone follows the rules and prevents harmful practices. Pillar 4, accessing funding. We know there is a funding gap. On average, we have only $0.4 per hectare to manage our 6.5 million hectares of forest during 2018 to 2024. This shows that local government budgets are not enough to deal with such big challenges. To reach our targets, we need nearly 25 IDR by 2030. That's why we are actively seeking outside funding through grants and green investments. In this effort, the support of our international partners is invaluable. Our collaboration with Under 2 Coalition and the Future Fund on the project From Small Action for Scaled Impact, Nurturing Green Environment Leadership of Youth Generation Towards Indonesia Vision 2045 has been especially meaningful. This project aims to speed up our green school initiatives, helping us raise a new generation that cares about the environment. We're very proud of the results. This project led to a new provincial regulation called Aksi-Kita to help schools achieve Ajiviata status faster. We have an ambitious goal of having 6% of schools in West Kalimantan reach Ajiviata status by 2030. We're also given direct support to 6 schools by providing solar panels, water treatment systems, and water filters. With strong collaboration, these achievements were possible. We have recognized 12 schools with the provincial Ajiviata title, and 3 schools have even received the national Ajiviata title. In closing, I want to share a few key messages. We've successfully reduced emissions against our BAU for 6 periods and have moved closer to our 60% goal in 2 of the periods. We also met our national allocation targets in 2019 to 2020. However, many challenges remain. As I have mentioned, many challenges still remain. We need to maintain our 60% commitment until 2030, improve our approach to RED plus implementation, and get the private sector more involved in preventing deforestation. We also need to provide more incentives for local communities and strengthen our institutional capacity. Looking ahead, we're focused on 5 main actions. We will continue to improve our legal framework to avoid any confusion or conflict. Second, we will build up our institutional capacity for better planning, implementation, and monitoring. 3, we will upgrade our monitoring systems to increase transparency and accountability. 4, we will connect with both public and private funding to support sustainable land-based investments. 5, we will align our efforts with global sustainability initiatives to get more support and have a bigger impact. This partnership is clear proof that by working together at both the regional and global levels, we can create a greener and more sustainable Kalimantan. As I have just mentioned, this partnership is clear proof that by working together at both the regional and global levels, we can create a cleaner and more sustainable West Kalimantan. Thank you very much. Please give another round of applause to the mayor, everyone. Next, we will hear a second presentation. We're providing simultaneous interpretation services. In case you need simultaneous interpretation, please make sure that you use the receiver on the table, channel 1 Korean and channel 2 English. Next, Ms. Neuma Kaur, Director of Subnational Government Policy at Under2 Coalition. She has prepared a presentation on the theme of utilization and impact of Chungnam's Climate Fund. Please welcome her with a big round of applause. 여러분 안녕하세요. 저는 네우마
of the Under2 Coalition, the world's largest network of states, regions, and provinces committed to net zero by 2050. I have the privilege of working closely with Governor Kim as the co-chair for our Asia-Pacific region, and want to thank Governor Kim and the Honorable Mayor of Boryeong for hosting this important conference and its 9th edition today. I'm honored to share the story of how Chungnam's leadership, through its catalytic investment into the Under2 Coalition, has driven real progress in subnational climate action and what lies ahead, from commitment to action. This is about how one bold step has helped spark global momentum for states, regions, and provinces around the world. As we all know, the climate crisis is urgent. We've heard about this from all the remarks that we've heard this morning. But what often gets overlooked is who actually delivers climate action on the ground. Subnational governments, states, regions, and provinces like Chungnam are responsible for nearly 70% of the measures in national climate plans. So whether they are adaptation or mitigation, subnational governments are driving policies that support climate action. They oversee critical economic sectors, including transport, buildings, agriculture, land use, and energy. Yet, despite this responsibility, they face serious barriers: limited financial and technical resources, lack of global visibility, and lack of partnerships and access. In 2023, Chungnam-do recognized this gap and stepped up with an investment of nearly $200,000 to strengthen subnational leadership through the Under2 Coalition. The funding elevated the voice of subnational leaders, unlocked critical additional financing, increased participation from regions in developing countries, and generated momentum across the entire coalition. That investment wasn't just funding, it was catalytic. It sent a strong signal of credibility and confidence in subnational leadership, launching a new phase of global collaboration. It created 4 streams of impact, and these 4 streams are available for you to see on the screen. First, it was mobilizing political momentum. Governor Kim's leadership elevated over 200 subnational leaders at key milestone events such as COP28 and Climate Week NYC. Second, it also catalyzed further investment and co-investment into the coalition's work. Chungcheongnam-do's early support attracted additional resources from governments as well as philanthropies, more than doubling the resources available to mobilize this work. Third, it prioritized inclusivity. So I think we heard from Chungnam this morning about the challenges that are being faced in Boryeong itself because of the early closure of power plants. So Chungnam also prioritized bringing voices from Africa, Asia, and Latin America onto global stages and into peer-to-peer dialogues to help create access for subnational governments from the global south. And fourth, the support provided by Chungnam also built stronger partnerships, embedding subnational priorities into international processes and initiatives such as CHAMP, of which Governor Kim is a big champion. I wanted to talk about some of the highlights of the impact that has been created thanks to this catalytic support. And some of these results are available to us, which are displayed on the screen. For example, over 200 leaders from more than 30 countries were mobilized to come and attend high-level convenings, which raised the voice and visibility of subnational leaders. Second, like I said, the funding catalyzed additional co-investment and early pilots in countries like Brazil to strengthen states' access to green finance and investment. Third, the results also helped the first ever Africa members meeting and targeted just transition dialogues in South Africa, India, and Brazil. And we also saw a shared global policy agenda co-created by governors and premiers focusing on just transition, methane reduction, finance, and multi-level action. These are all the tangible but really global impacts, all sparked by one region's vision, Chuncheongnam-do. We also learned some valuable lessons through this work along the way. First, strategic investment attracts further partnerships. So that was the first lesson that we learned. Governor Kim's early support unlocked new co-funding and peer collaboration across the network in a way that we hadn't experienced before. Second, shared agendas strengthen collective action. When leaders help shape the priorities, they become stronger advocators and implementers of the priorities themselves. We saw a lot of global momentum on some of the agenda items that I discussed before in the slide before, like just transition, fossil fuels, and methane action. The third lesson was that finance capacity gaps do remain a barrier at the subnational level. Many subnational governments still lack the resources and technical expertise to access investment and scale, which is why climate finance is a growing priority for the Under 2 coalition in the coming years. And finally, the last lesson that I'd like to share here is that momentum is fueled by connection. The most lasting outcomes come from peer learning, regional collaboration, and collective advocacy. So bottom line is working together is extremely important. Finally, looking ahead, where do we go from here? The next phase is about scaling impact even further. Together, we will drive a just transition away from fossil fuels, reduce harmful methane emissions, unlock climate finance for states and regions, and embed subnational leadership in global frameworks. To close this presentation today, I just wanted to share that one truth stands firm. The world cannot deliver on climate without empowering subnational leaders. Thanks to Chungcheongnam-do's vision and Governor Kim's vision, that empowerment is already underway. Governor Kim's leadership shows the power of catalytic investment to unlock cooperation, attract new partners, and inspire a new generation of leaders. With this continued partnership, we can scale this momentum, driving climate action from the ground up where it matters the most. Thank you.
네, 감사합니다. 네.
Thank you for your wonderful presentation. Ms. Neumatt Kaur. And now I'd like to proceed with one of the key programs of today's conference, the signing ceremony of a Memorandum of Understanding. Before that, we will watch a short video.
네, 저희가 영상에 원래 소리
Actually, we prepared the video with some sounds, but due to the technical issues, I think that we have to wait for a second. So the Under-2's regional policy director made a presentation, and as you are well aware, this conference is for our mission of the time, carbon neutrality, and very important presentation was given by the director, and we are now watching a video. At the downstream end of the Kumgang lies the Kumgang Estuary Center in Seocheon. On rainy days, vegetation and waste wash down from upstream blanket the estuary and coastline. This waste has long threatened the ecosystem and the fishing environment, bringing recurring hardship to local residents every year. But what if each piece of that drifting waste could come back to life? Now, the vegetation waste that has accumulated at the Kumgang estuary is being reborn. For the first time in Korea, the government, local authorities, and public institutions have joined hands to establish a nationwide system for recycling vegetation waste at the Changhang National Eco-Industrial Complex. Collected and sorted vegetation waste undergoes the pile drying process and is reborn as a renewable energy source. This is not just simply about reducing waste. In partnership with Korea Midland Power, the waste is turned into biomass fuel in the form of wood pellets, cutting greenhouse gas emissions and contributing to carbon neutrality. What was once discarded waste is now being revived as local energy, as resources, and as a vision for the future. The Kumgang estuary is where the new value is discovered in disaster-driven debris. The Kumgang Estuary Vegetation Reborn project is more than resource cycling. It is a new answer leading us toward a carbon-neutral future. Please give another round of applause. The video you just saw conveys a story of new transformation beginning at the Kumgang estuary. Discarded aquatic plants will be reborn as energy. The once polluted river will be revitalized, and the local economy will regain its vitality. This is more than just an environmental policy. It is our joint declaration for a sustainable future and a heartfelt promise to the next generations. To realize this meaningful project, the Ministry of Environment, Chungcheongnam-do Province, and Seocheon County, as well as Korea Midland Power, joined hands together. We will now see the signing ceremony of the Kumgang Estuary Aquatic Plant Reborn Project MOU. I will call upon your name. Please come up to the stage. Mr. Kim Tae-hum, Mr. Kim Gi-hoon, Mr. Kim Gi-young, Mr. Lee Young-jo, Mr. Kim Byung-gun. Please stand up behind the pad, and we are going to take a group photo before we sign the MOU. We will take a photo together. Please look at the camera in front of you and make a big smile. Please give a big hand and congratulate the ceremony. Please look at the camera in front of you. Thank you for your cooperation. The path to carbon neutrality is one we create together. Now, let us seal that promise by signing the agreement for the Kumgang Estuary Aquatic Plant Reborn project. So, please sign the agreement on my count. Kumgang Estuary Aquatic Plant Reborn project. Please sign the MOU. Use the pen in front of you and sign the agreement. And you are now watching them signing the MOU on the screen. Now, please give another round of applause to commemorate this moment of cooperation. Thank you for your cooperation. And now we will take another photo with the agreement held by your hands. So please hold the agreement and show it in front of you. Please come to the middle and give another round of applause and commemorate this moment of cooperation and carbon neutrality. The ceremony showed very well the determination of Chungcheongnam-do province. Now I'd like to ask all of our VIPs to come up to the stage and take a photo. Those sitting in the front row, please come up to the stage and take a group photo.
The stage for a commemorative photo session. 네, 앞쪽으로 모시겠습니다. 저희 직원분들
Please come up to the stage. Please follow the guide of our staff members.
A commemorative photo session. 오늘 먼 곳에서도
We have distinguished guests from afar, and they have come a long way to join this event and commemorate this moment of cooperation. Please make 2 rows and take a group photo. We are going to clear the stage and take a group photo. So now I'd like to take a group photo. Please wait for a moment. Please make a big smile and look at the camera in front of you.
자세로 촬영 진행하고 저희가 두 가지 자세로 촬영을 더 진행.
We'll make 2 poses and take a photo. Please look at the camera in the middle.
저희 오른손으로 화이팅을 할 건데요. 제가 하나, 둘, 셋 하면 여러분들께서 다 같이 화이팅을 해주시면 되겠습니다. 여러분 하나, 둘, 셋, 화이팅! 네, 감사합니다. 마지막으로 박수 치면서 오늘 기념사진 촬영 마무리하겠습니다. 여러분께서도 오늘 업무 협약 시까지 끝까지 마무리된 것에 대해서 기념 박수를 주시면 진심으로
Please give a big hand to congratulate this meaningful event. This concludes the signing ceremony. This wraps up the opening ceremony of Chungcheongnam-do Carbon Neutrality International Conference. Please join our afternoon session. The VIP luncheon is going to be held in Hall 1 on the second floor. Please follow the guide of our staff members.